Hello, everyone. This is Letao, your astrologist and your spiritual counselor. Thank you very much for joining this video. Today, I'd like to, together with you, explore the three most basic but also extremely important concepts in astrology: our sun sign, our moon sign, and also our ascendant sign, which is also known as our rising sign. Now, if you are already an avid astrologist learner, you probably are already familiar with those three terms. But also what I realize is that in my daily counseling sessions, sometimes when I talk about sun sign, moon sign, actually most people don't really know the difference between them. And sometimes we might even ask like, okay, I know I am for example, an Aquarius. But what do you mean by, oh, I'm also an Aries, or my rising sign is Scorpio? What does that mean? I thought, I was just an Aquarius. So let's talk about those three things. Now, first of all, when we talk about the sun, when the rising, there's one important concept that we need to understand is that we are not just one sign. And when we talk about, for example, Aries, Aquarius, Taurus, Scorpio, we're not talking about an individual, specifically you or me. We're actually talking about the archetype of those constellation signs, meaning that each zodiac sign carries a specific archetypal energy with them. And each one of us as a human being, we carry many different archetypes in us. And we all have the 12 different zodiac signs in us. However, sometimes we certain energies are stronger in us, so we tend to appear very similar or very prone towards a specific zodiac energy. So the three signs that I mentioned, the sun, moon, and the rising, are the most important things if we look at an astrological natal chart based on your birthday and based on your birth year, birth months, and birth time and birth location. Now, what are the differences in them? The sun sign is basically talking about the position of the sun at the moment you were born. So imagining you as a baby popped out of your mother's body, and if you look into the sky, look up at that moment, you take a snapshot of the sky, where the sun is. If the sun is in the same direction with a specific zodiac sign, then your sun sign would be in that sign. So for example, if you were born, let's say on April the 3rd, then each year around April the 3rd, the sun will be transiting in the constellation sign of Aries. And that's why we're saying you're an Aries. Okay, now another example is if you were born, let's say on randomly, let's say May the 28th. Now, every year, the sun around May the 28th will be transiting in the constellation sign of Gemini. And that's why we say you're a Gemini. Now, of course, when you were born, you can find where the sun is. You can also find where the moon is. And it goes without saying that the position of the moon will be your moon sign. So it's very possible that you were born on, let's say, again, May the 28th. Your sun is shining in the constellation sign of Gemini, but your moon is in a different sign. Yeah, for some people, maybe the sun moon are in the same sign, but for most of us, we don't. Our sun and moon can be very, very different. And and this in the future, we're going to talk about even more planets such as Mercury, Venus, Mars, all these other planets, and they're usually scattered, right, in the sky in different places. And that is why you could be a sun sign in Gemini, but your moon sign could be in Libra, and your Mercury could be in, let's say, Taurus, and your Venus could be in Cancer, and things like that. Now, let's get to the point. So what exactly is your sun sign symbolizing? So the sun is the most important planet in our chart. It's the biggest shiny point in the sky is usually talking about our illumination, where we need to find light. And you can imagine when you were born, that's the most important place you want to look towards, because that shows the illumination of your past, and it shows where you need to walk towards. So here I have put a very quick summary about what the sun sign in astrology is. Basically, the sun is the most important planet in our chart, and it symbolizes one's will and your own sense of vitality. It also symbolizes what our soul wants on a conscious level and what we strive to become. So for example, again, if your sun sign is in Aries, this could be saying that the illumination or the goal of this lifetime for you is to learn how to become an Aries, how to embrace the Aries quality. Now, what is Aries quality? Then that has a lot to do with how much you understand about the archetypes of the 12 zodiac signs. Now, Aries, in short, is about your independence, is your individuality, is your desire to stand alone and be strong and be enterprising and be independent. And you know what your identity is without other people's support and constant validation. And that's what Aries archetype is. Now, if you were born as an Aries, sun sign Aries, it does not mean that you are already all those things. However, it does tell you that this is the illumination in your life. And this is where you need to live your life to strive to become and to embrace, right? The qualities you might need to learn. Now, on the other hand, the moon sign is not something that we understand consciously. The moon is representing the opposite of the sun, is talking about something that innately we bring into this reincarnation. Perhaps it has a lot to do with our past, our previous life. That's why the moon sign usually represents our inner emotion, our natural instinctual habit, our emotional reactions towards our outside environment. Interestingly, moon sign is not something that you need to learn to understand. And that is why a lot of people, they probably will be able to identify with their moon sign more than their sun sign, specifically when they were young. And I hear this from my clients a lot. Some people will say to me, Letao, I know I'm an Aries, but I can't associate myself with this independence spirit. I never want to run my own business. I never want to, just do my own thing. I always feel I need people. I need a partner. I need to be with someone else. And the reason, when you look at the chart, you can tell, wow, so they have a moon sign in Libra, and Libra is a sign of relationship. So that's how naturally what they're drawn to, even though their sun sign could be something different, which is their illumination and their life goal. But the moon sign is talking about how they naturally feel when it comes to dealing with the people or the society around them. So that's our moon sign. And one more interesting thing about moon sign is, I also have written in here, have a look. The moon sign also has a lot to do with your childhood and your mother figure. Now, sometimes it's also about your father, depending on who is the more domestic parent for you. If your mother is the one hustle and bustle, earning money and career woman, and your father is more the domestic parent, spending time with you, sending you to school, things like that, then probably your moon sign will be more closely associated with your father. And that is the reason why when you go to a psychological counseling session, when you go to see a psychologist, normally when you talk about your emotion and feelings, they tend to ask you, tell me about your childhood. Tell me about your parents. And this is interesting because in astrology, both these two things, your inner emotion, your inner world, and your parental energy, your mother, both these two things are ruled by the moon. Interesting, isn't it? Now, let's move on to the rising sign. Now, the rising sign is not really a planet. There's no planet in the sky called the rising. The so-called rising sign is a very sensitive and important degree on your natal chart. Basically, the rising sign is whatever the constellation sign is, rising at the eastern horizon at the moment that you were born. So it's not specifically a star or a planet in the sky, but it is the degree depending on your birth time. And this is the reason why when you're consulting a professional astrologist, or if you have been to my personal session, I will always ask you, what time were you born and how accurate is your birth time? Because birth time will decide where the rising point is. And depending on the rising point, it will basically give us a very important information about the 12 houses allocation. Now, we're not going to go into the details about this, but coming back to the rising sign, I'll just explain what this means when we're looking at this sign. The rising sign, first of all, is talking about the path that you need to walk towards your illumination. So this is back to the sun sign we're talking about. If the moon is where you come from and the sun is where you need to move towards, then the bridge between your past and your future, or the path that you will need to walk in this lifetime from your moon towards your sun, from your previous reincarnation towards your future success and your fulfillment, is this ascendant sign. Basically, it tells you that through this path, what you need to do is to embrace this rising sign's quality as a method or as a practice in order for you to reach the final destination. So for example, let's say again, if we're still gonna use a random sign, let's say your rising sign is Gemini, okay? Now, if your rising sign is Gemini, maybe your sun sign is different, right? Maybe your sun sign is, let's say, is Leo, okay? So for example, if you're Leo sun sign and your rising sign is Gemini, so what does that mean? Now, Leo is about your creativity. It's about you taking the center stage, you getting all the attention, right, from the people around you, because you are a star, because you are the performer, you are the actor, and you are the singer. And so it could be saying that a life goal for you to achieve, right, is to become, for example, to be in a profession or to be in a position in the society where you assume a little bit like the leadership, or you assume the role of a performer. And how do you work towards that? Now, if your rising sign is Gemini, Gemini is about communication. It's about mastering your communication. It's about ideas. It's about information. It's about all the different opinions and thoughts out there, right? Networking, things like that. So when you have this combination with sun sign in Leo and rising sign in Gemini, perhaps let's say if you want to be a let's say comedian, let's say stand-up comedian, okay, just a random example, then that's very Leo, because Leo is about entertainment, your creativity. Maybe what you want to do is to become the star, standing on stage and talking about jokes and and showcase your amazing ability to make people laugh. But how do you get there? Gemini is through the way you talk. Gemini is through the way you communicate. It's through your curiosity, right? It's through how you connect with the society and everyone else, instead of just doing everything, shut the door, right? Just doing everything by yourself, and hopefully one day you will be a star. And so you can see, even though you have different signs on your chart, but they actually will play out in a very different way. Now, let's just do a little bit exercise with this. Imagining the 12 different signs, they all carry different archetypes and qualities. And in a funny way, you can imagine them as 12 different children, right? 12 kids in the same class. Now, naturally, some kids will get along with other kids easily, and some kids will not. it does not mean that every kid will be able to accept each other and get along with each other all at the same level. Now, when we delve into astrology more, you will know certain signs tend to understand certain signs easier than other signs. Now, for example, I'm sure some of you might know that, okay, so Aries gets along with Sagittarius and Leo. Now, again, we're not talking about you as an Aries person getting along with Leo and Sagittarius. We are seeing the archetype, the energy of Leo tend to get along with Sagittarius and Leo. So for example, look at this person. Okay, oh, here, the chart. Yep. If a person's sun sign is in Aries and their moon sign is in Sagittarius and their rising sign is in Leo, you can tell the three different important signs on their chart. They tend to like each other. They tend to get along with each other. It means that when they are trying to walk from their moon toward their sun through this path, which is their rising sign, it tends to be easier for them. So what does that mean? See, Aries is about their enterprising spirit. It's about their independence. It's about them wanting to do things alone, wanting to just break through, right? And show their own power and build their own identity. Now, if their moon sign is in Sagittarius, one of the qualities about Sagittarius moon is that they're a thirst for knowledge. They want to learn, they want to expand their knowledge, they want to expand their experience, they want to travel, they want to do all these kind of exciting things for them to grow. Now, naturally, these two energies fit each other. You can imagine if a person wants freedom to go overseas, to learn, right, to do degrees and to meet different people, instead of staying at home just for the sake of security, it's easier for them to cultivate the spirit of independence, which is Aries. Right? So the Sagittarius moon will help them to become the Aries sun. Now, at the same time, when their rising sign is Leo, see, Leo is about creativity. It's about them wanting to take the center stage or wanting to choose a path that is a little bit like pushing them onto the stage as a star, right? Again, this will also contribute to their sun sign because this could be very much about someone's life. For example, this specific person that we're talking about here. For example, this could be them wanting to become let's say, again, a stand-up comedian, right? And they want to travel to a foreign land. They want to do that in a place that they don't know. Perhaps it's because stand-up comedy is not really big in their life. Let's just say someone from Hong Kong, right? Maybe for them, all the best stand-up comedians are in the States. So in order for them to become the best stand-up comedian, they will have to travel to the States to meet people, to learn jokes, right? To learn, how to be entertaining and how to be intelligent at the same time while you're performing. And all these kind of things are involving the three fire signs that we're seeing there. Now, we're also going to give you a different example when someone also born as a sign in Aries, but with a different moon and a different rising, that could create a little bit more challenge for them. So for example, have a look at this. This guy has got a sun sign in Aries, same as the previous experience. Their goal of life is to find their personal independence, their enterprising spirit, their own identity, their personal power. But their moon is in Libra. So what does it mean? What does show what they emotionally need? Moon sign Libra people emotionally, they need to be with someone. They don't like to be single. They don't like to be alone. They feel that life is always more complete with someone else. Now, that could create a little bit more difficulty for them to reach their sun sign Aries. Because when they finally want to, find their independence, then their moon sign says, no, 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 but I want a partner, right? I want that, that independence sometimes, but also I want someone to be with me. I don't just want to, go to that path. What if I'll end up being alone, right? Because I feel lonely. So you can see this push and pull energy in them. So sometimes they want this, but sometimes when they really get to their sun sign, they feel lonely and they want to go back, they want to pull away from their sun sign. And so people with this kind of energy, they will tend to feel a little bit more challenged It's not about challenging from from outside obstacles, but it's more their internal psychology, making them feel more torn between two different things. Now, also, you can see this person's rising sign is Cancer. Now, Cancer is a sign of family, mother, parent, children. Okay, so you can see if the rising sign is in Cancer, then the life path, the path they need to walk in order to reach their sun sign is through embracing the Cancer energy. Perhaps they need to be a parent. Perhaps they need to, if they choose not to be a parent, perhaps they want to, for example, foster dogs, right? They want to take care of cats and dogs and protect animals. It doesn't mean that they want to be an actual parent, yeah, but I have a very good friend who is a Cancer rising, and she dedicated a lot of time to take care of dogs, and she did a lot of charity work, yeah, for animals and things like that. And so that's the Cancerian rising energy, right? So through engaging with those activities. But the problem is if their sun sign is in Aries, sometimes that Cancer might saying that I want you to stay at home, to be a good parent, to be a good mother. You can't go out there just to pursue your enterprising a goal, be a businessman or whatever that is. You have to also look after your kid and be a good parent, be a good mother. And I'm not saying that you can't do that. Actually, a lot of us, we all have a little bit friction between our sun sign or moon sign or our sun sign with our ascendant sign. That's all possible. But naturally speaking, you can see there's more push and pull and more adjustments, let's put it this way, that are needed compared to the sun, moon, rising, all in the same element, all fire signs, all water signs, all earth signs, or all air signs, right? So when you are consulting an astrologer, remember to ask them, what is your sun sign? What is your moon sign? What is your rising sign? And what do these things mean to them, for them, yeah, for their lifetime, for their life, sorry. And if you want to find out your own sign, you can simply just Google online, what is my moon sign or what is my rising sign? You will find a lot of website giving you free information. There will be like a free calculator there. You just input your birthday, birth time, birthplace information, and they will give you the information. And the only thing you need to do is bring this information to an astrologer, or you can even just let an astrologer know your birthday, birth time, and they can also calculate it for you if you prefer them doing it instead of doing it yourself on the laptop. And the final thing that I want to say before we finish this quick but educational video is that there's nothing wrong with any type of combination when we're looking at our sign. So try not to panic if you say, oh shit, I'm a sun sign Aries, but my moon sign is Libra, I'm fucked. It's not about that, okay? There's always a reason why we're assigned this lifetime to with a certain energy, okay? Whatever your sun sign, moon sign, rising sign is, there's always a reason why you were born with that. And there's always a important reason, an important lesson that we need to go through and we need to master in this lifetime as well. And so I just want you to know that as you're looking at your chart and as you're consulting an astrologer, always keep an open mind and always tell yourself that there's always a way for me to bring all these different elements and different energies together to manifest what I want in this lifetime. Very good. Hope this explains the question that you guys have, and I'll see you guys very soon in the next video. Bye.